listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
The O-Behave Show is sponsored by Beneful Brand Dog Food. Play. It's good for you.
It's O-Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your O-Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the O-Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Everyone, I'm talking our dogs, our cats, companion animals, everyone deserves to walk and feel pain-free. On today's special show, we're going to feature a couple of talented people who really know how to go with the flow. I'm talking in the healthiest of ways. That's because they are experts in the ancient healing techniques of acupressure. I want you now to give pause and applause to our very gifted guest. First up, we have Amy Snow. She is co-founder of Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute. Hey, Amy.
Hey, Arden.
How's it going?
Pretty good. We're just chugging along here in Colorado.
All right. And on the left coast in San Diego County, we have our second special guest, Nedra Abramson. She is founder of Acupressure for All Creatures. Welcome to the show, Nedra.
Hey, Arden. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. So, listeners, are you curious about what the heck acupressure is? Do you want to know how it works on your pets? Hey, maybe even yourself? Well, guess what? Amy and Nedra will unlock some of the mysteries behind acupressure on today's show. I want all of you to sit and stay and get ready for a little chi, as we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. O-Behave will be right back.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. O-Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the O-Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our dogs, our cats, our horses, all our companion animals, they deserve more than just pats on the head. You know what? They can benefit by purposeful touch. Acupressure works wonders in so many ways for pets of all ages, sizes, shapes, and activity levels. And here to explain acupressure with a little dash of Reiki are our 2 special guests. First up, as mentioned, we have Amy Snow. She is a co-founder of the Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute. It's based in Colorado, but its healing reach is global. And after this show, I'm asking all of you to please dash over to the site animalacupressure.com. You're going to be amazed, because I was. Now, Amy, along with co-founder Nancy Zadonis, they inspire people all over the world, and they put their passion for animals into practice. So, one of the people who have been taught by Amy and Nancy is here. We're speaking with Nedra Abramson. She is the founder of Acupressure for All Creatures. It's based in San Diego. Now, I'm going to start with you quickly, Nedra, because looking at your bio, you've done like a 180 degree turn in your professional career. You were Miss Corporate America, weren't you? And then you got a pair of rescue cats named Monster and Sidhai. Is that pronounced right?
Yeah.
Okay. And all of a sudden you left the corporate world and you're now this wonderful expert instructor in Reiki and acupressure. So talk about how you made this career shift.
Well, I think I got transferred out to California, which was probably the start of it, but, from Chicago. That usually helps. I was working in radio, television. It was fine, but it wasn't really fulfilling. So I started actually volunteering at an animal rescue in LA called Much Love Animal Rescue. And basically after that, I just got really hooked into animals, and you get all these animals from shelters, and it was just interesting that they all have like a lot of kind of fear-based issues. They're not in the best health. So it was like, how can we help them? And then one of my cats, who actually rescued from Much Love, got really sick, and she was working with Western medicine and was doing some things, but she wasn't completely healing. So I ended up going to a holistic vet. And she basically worked on her for a day, and the next day, she was actually walking much better. She felt much better. So I just told her, what exactly did you do? And she's like, well, I did some acupressure and I did some Reiki. I'm like, alrighty then. So I just looked into both of them. I was like, because it really worked. Like, it was amazing because she had been having nerve issues and she was having trouble walking. And after she worked on her, I think she's knowing now what I know, that she just opened up a lot of blocked chi, and I think there was some fear-based stuff in there too. So I just started grabbing books and studying, and I became a Reiki master in 2008 just because I really enjoyed Reiki. But a lot of it's Reiki is amazing and it pulls in universal energy, but I'm kind of a control freak. And so I actually grabbed a book from Tallgrass. It was, I think, Acu-Dog and Acu-Cat. I bought both of them and was just really fascinated because I could actually go okay, I can go to this point and it, might actually do X. So I just found that really interesting as well. And then I started taking classes with Tallgrass, and it was such an amazing institution. We learned so much. It was theory, and it really helped me kind of, actually expand my knowledge working with, both modalities. And so I just went through there and became nationally certified last June and just started this career that I just was really passionate about. And that's kind of the difference, because when I was selling, airtime, it's like, okay, I'm selling air. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like, people would get really stressed out about selling air. I'm like, yeah, but nobody's going to die. So really, but this, I felt really good about it. I was actually helping animals and, helping their owners too, because a lot of times, animals don't necessarily have a voice, or they can't always tell you what's wrong enough. You kind of really focus in on them. And so just to be able to do that and to be able to give these owners just some extra points so they can actually help their animal as well is just really fulfilling.
Wow, that's good. And so I guess, Nedra, you're saying your whole career shift path, in part, Amy's all to blame. It's all her fault. Darn you, Amy, for being the head of Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute. So, Amy, you and Nancy Sedonis, and Nancy's off doing some very important things for your group right now. We're doing a big pause up to her because she can't be on the show, but you're getting to speak for both you and her. So tell us a little bit about how you got into this field and a little bit about Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute.
Well, actually, Nancy started it over 23 years ago, and she started with horses because she was doing massage and acupressure on dressage riders. And they one day said to her, hey, it's my horse. He's the athlete, not me. I mean, I just sit on top of him, and he hurts. Can you do something for him? And that started her career in looking into how to help animals. One of the good things that happened is that they worked with a vet, and they took not photographs, but moving pictures, and they could see the actual improvements as they worked on the different dressage horses. They had started on dogs as well when I came along, which is 14 years ago, and I'm pretty focused on the dogs at this point because I love them. That's who they are. They love me. I love them. And cats, we have a wonderful cat too. In fact, we're just finished doing a manual for Tui-Na, which is actually what acupressure massage is called in China.
Say that name again, Amy. Go ahead.
Tui-Na, Tui-Na, and we're teaching a course in it, a basic one, next weekend here in Colorado. And it's just phenomenal what that does. And in China, frankly, acupressure is more common than acupuncture.
Really?
Yeah, Tui-Na is used all over the country, in all clinics all over China. And acupuncture is just sort of a sideline, which
Wow.
is really fascinating. Yeah, I think it is too. When we get to the West, we want extreme measures. And so the Western mind thinks, oh, needles must be better. Well, the truth is, it's not. Acupressure has been used for over 3,000 years in China, and it traveled the Silk Road, and that's the basis of all massage. It traveled the Silk Road into the Middle Europe, into Greece, into the Mediterranean area, and then up into the northern parts of Europe. So it's kind of interesting. I got involved because of my dog, Oak. He needed surgery. He didn't have any hips at all. Not
What?
one.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a beautiful golden retriever. He was bred for his incredibly wonderful temperament, which I think Nedra can attest to. Mm-hmm. And Nancy came to my house and showed me prior to his surgery some things that could help him. I worked very hard on that, and then they came back and showed me what I could do after his surgery. And here's how the story goes. We were walking into the vet office 6 days after his surgery. The surgeon was walking behind us down the hallway, and we got into that little cubicle room, and the vet said, oh, he's here for his month check, huh?
Oh,
And I said,
wow.
What? No, 6 days ago. And he looked at me, are you sure? I said, yeah, I just was here. You just did surgery 6 days ago. It was his week check. And he never looked back. This dog did fine for the next 13 years.
Nice.
Yeah. That's when I realized I had been doing Jinshin Jitsu, which is a Japanese form of acupressure, since the 1970s. And I had to do it underground because I was a geotechnical engineer, and I couldn't admit that I really was into Chinese medicine. But, when you look at that, it's all subsurface energy. So that's what it's about. That's what acupressure is about, is balancing your internal and subsurface energy and the flow of blood and the good things for the body.
No, I think that is important. I think it's been around a long time, and you touched on something I think is very important. Sometimes the Western mind does think, oh, more is better. But this is really all about the blood flow, and, you're dealing with a clientele, if you will, who isn't able to verbalize. So you must be looking for, what sort of things do you look for, say, in a dog or a cat that needs some acupressure? How do you read them, I guess, because they're speaking cat or they're speaking dog?
Well, their English is pretty clear, too. I have a dog. I think all dogs, you can look in their eye. If it's a dull eye, if it's a happy eye, bright eye, horses too, cats too. You look at the outside of their coat. If a cat has too much dust sticking to them or too much, that means that she is not flowing well, and they're not moving well, and they're not cleaning themselves up well. And say you've often seen that cat who can't clean the back of his body. So you see this sort of greasy streak down the back. So there are all sorts of telltale signals that we can pick up on that, from a Chinese medicine point of view, we see a lot. If there's too much lacrimation, too many tearing of the eye, for instance, those deep grooves next to the eyes on, say, a pug or a boxer, those are the kinds of things. That's excess lacrimation, and we can work with the eyes. So we know how to address things by what we see and what we feel, because you're going to feel things, too. There's a particular meridian, an energy flow area that runs down the back, called the bladder meridian, and we can check points on that because it relates to how the body is functioning internally. That's pretty general, but that's the story.
Now, are dogs and cats built about the same when it comes to checking their meridians and using acupressure, or are they distinctly different? Because I know cats and dogs have many differences, but many similarities. So when you're having to deal with a dog or a cat, are there different acupressure points you need to be cognizant of?
Yeah, they're similar, but the nature of the beast is so different. They're both predatory, that's true, but they do have very different natures, so you've got to take that into account. Their bodies are basically the same.
For the dog, we're going to have Amy speak about the dog and Nedra to speak about the cat. So when you're working with the dog, how is their nature? It seems to be kind of a commonality among dogs.
If they're well socialized, they're usually very friendly and happy and easygoing. And if they've been among other animals, so they don't, they're not isolated and fearful and timid, or it does depend. I wouldn't say there are huge commonalities. It has to do with how wonderful the parenting has been.
So, Nedra, is there any special challenges facing when you're dealing with, let's say, a feline client?
Well, it just really, again, kind of depends on the parenting, but cats are just kind of funny because I just know, like, with cats, you always just really look closely at their eyes because their eyes are really expressive, and you find, like, how much heart-shun they have, how much energy they have, how they feel, and their coat's a really good telltale sign. You know, as Amy said, like, you know, can they ache? You look at certain signs, like, are they grooming? You know, do they have, like, a vibrant coat? Is it thick? Is it lush? Is it, like, stringy? So all those, there's, like, it's having, like, a lot of clues. You can, like, see their paws. That will tell you a lot, like if their paws feel drier, their nails have striations, that also is like a different clue for something. You always want to try and be able to like check like their tongue and see what like color variations on their tongue is. But cats, like, because dogs sometimes are just, the cats are more, some can be more aloof, but a lot of times like they'll actually really warm up and then they just like sit with you and cuddle, and like they tend to, they're more energetic. I think they're energetic beings in some regard because they almost telepath more like with each other and people. They're kind of more in their head, but they're really fun, like, once you get them to kind of open up. And it takes a little bit more, I think, for a cat to open up and trust than a dog sometimes. But, like, once they do, they're amazing. And they really tell you kind of, you know, what they want done and when they want it done. They're just like, yes, do this point over here. Like, they're pretty expressive that way.
That's good. Now, we touched upon the word chi, and it's pronounced C-H-E-E, but for all you spellmeisters and masters, it's Q-I. Amy, explain what the heck chi is and how that pertains to companion animals.
Chi is what promotes the body, what moves things in the body. Chi is similar to if you had a pool of water and it wasn't going anywhere, it would just be a pool of water. If you have a hose and there's movement, there's pressure, there's activity, that's chi. Then the water will move through the hose. So that's similar to chi in the body. It is what creates the vitality of the body. It brings not just neurological energy, but also nutrients, a form of nutrients that fully energizes muscles, tendons, ligaments. It's part of the nourishment system as well as blood. So we usually say chi and blood because it has to bring that level of nourishment because it's the yin and the yang. Blood is more yin in nature because it's thicker and it's liquid and it's fluid and it goes through the system. And chi is what promotes it and gets it there.
All right, balance of nature, right?
Has to be the balance. If there isn't the balance, things just don't go. They stop.
Okay. We're speaking with Amy Snow. She's the co-founder of Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute, and we also have Nedra Abramson on here, and she is the founder of acupressureforallcreatures.com. We're going to talk a little bit more about some things that we can do and why we need to use acupressure for our pets, some of the behavior issues, health, senior citizen issues for our aging pets, and also get into what the heck Reiki is. But we have to pay for this show, so I want everybody to sit and stay. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Begging to hear more of your favorite show? Full episodes of all our shows are available on demand. Go to PetLifeRadio.com to fetch our entire lineup of Possum Pet podcasts. Also, dig us up in iHeartRadio and iTunes. Let's talk pets. Live and on demand, only from Pet Life Radio.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, it's Victoria Stilwell from Animal Planet. It's me, or the dog. You're listening to Oh Behave with Arden Moore on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I'm so glad we have two healing experts on the air. We're speaking with Amy Snow of Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute and Nedra Abramson of acupressureforallcreatures.com. I want to get right into this, Nedra. What the heck is R-E-I-K-I, Reiki? It sounds like I should be Reiki dancing, but I could be wrong.
Well, Reiki is actually, it's a life force energy, and it's a universal energy that brings in and actually allows the body to heal. It just kind of goes where it needs to go and just really creates basically a balanced flow of chi. So by working with animals, there's positions that you put on them, and then the energy comes through. And just if there's something stuck, kind of aiming for like a hose or a river, sometimes like your river flows, but there's a bunch of rocks in your river, it can't flow, and you get blockages. So beyond blockage, it tends to be a lot cooler in the body, and then above that blockage, it tends to be warmer. So what you want is you're kind of running through the body and checking for like hot and cold areas, and so you want to make sure you have a nice even flow of just, warmth throughout the whole body. So Reiki allows you to do all that when you work on an animal.
Okay, so let's say you were one of our wonderful guests at National Dog Party Day in San Diego, and you had this beautiful Bernese Mountain Dog on the stage named Nani. And tell us a little bit about what you were trying to do and show our folks, because I thought it was good at National Dog Party Day. We want to bring out the healthy best, both mentally, physically, and emotionally for both the people and their pets. So what were you trying to show us with Nani? Because she was a very sweet, furry Vanna White for you, I guess, for your demo.
Nani is awesome. She's got really nice heart shen, and she's got this really nice flow of chi, and she's a very sweet girl. What I was showing the audience, there's some really basic acupressure points, but they're showing them some really good calming points they can use if their dogs seem a bit agitated. We went through a few of those. There's one like right under kind of the back of the head or the occipital bone, gallbladder 20, which is just kind of clears brain, calms mind, and it's a good point. It's easy to get to.
So we've got an antsy, anxious, bouncing up and down dog, and people want to go, shut up, be quiet, leave it alone, and the dog gets jacked up even more. So specifically, guide us through how we can calm that dog down with that gallbladder point.
So basically, you want to stay very calm, obviously, but if you're walking or you're on a leash, there's other points, but gallbladder 20 is pretty easy to get to. So just kind of right behind the skull, there's like two little divots you can actually find, and you can find them on your own skull too. It's like right kind of where your skull kind of hits up with your cervical spine. But it's like on either side of that, and you just kind of rub it really lightly, and basically that point's just kind of clears brain, it calms kind of mind. So it just will like let them, just kind of ease out a little second. And another good point I showed them was Baowei, which is right in the lumbar sacral space. It's actually a point of 100 yang readings, but it's a really, dogs like that spot, and it's kind of where they get all excited when you're not excited per se, but they really like that little spot back there. So it's just a good one to...
It's on the spine near the base of the tail, or where is this on the...
Right in the lumbar sacral space, so kind of right before that tail a little bit up, right in the middle of the back on the dorsal midline.
And you can hear dogs all across America going, aha, that's the spot.
There's many more, but those are really accessible. Like if you're with your dog in public, it's an easy one to get to. They seem to enjoy it, and it's a really nice way just to kind of give them a message like, hey, it's okay, and it allows the body just to release and kind of calm down.
Okay. Now, Amy, I think, wouldn't it be amazing if dog trainers all over the world were also trained in acupressure in points like this? Can you imagine? I wouldn't even have the show, Oh Behave, because everybody would be behaving. What do you think?
I think that's a good point. There are a number of points that are very easy for focus for training specifically. In fact, we've written many articles on the subject, and you probably can find them on our website under recent articles and go to the canine section. And it is focus for training. Nedra mentioned the Baowei point. Well, there's also the yin tang, which is right in the middle. It's like the third eye. Mm-hmm. And then there's for dogs that need to bring their focus together. They're too dispersed. They're too far out there. And then there's the opposite. There are dogs that are needing to not focus so hard, but to open up their minds. And that's the yang tang point. So acupressure has a tremendous amount of uses. You touched on the chronic issues of old age, and boy, that's a biggie for us in Chinese medicine, working with animals, is that these, Western meds do phenomenal things. The two together are extraordinary. But you add, especially to the chronic situations, we can get a lot of dogs off some of the heavy meds that they tend to get on, and they feel a lot better for a lot longer. So I don't know if you want to go in that direction at this point.
No. I mean, there's a lot of furry, tail-wagging, purr-emitting Betty Whites, if you will, with the four legs. And I think the beauty of some advances in medicine is that they are kept alive longer. But I think, this complement, this bridging of East meets Western medicine seems to benefit the best for dogs and cats. And I noticed in doing some research, there are more and more veterinarians that are adding acupressure and other modalities into their work because I think they're seeing the need for having this integrative approach to caring for our pets.
Their owners are asking for it, actually.
Yes, I think you're right, Nedra. Okay. So, Amy, let's talk a little bit about how to, don't you think integrative medicine is sort of the way to go for our pets?
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind. And, you need Western medicine also. Without trauma care, surgeries, diagnostics, those are important. And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, without those, we wouldn't have the dog or the cat or the horse. So we need those. We've definitely, thousands of years have passed using ancient and traditional medicines, which can make a huge contribution to it. It's not assuming that everything does everything. And when I said the chronic issues and the old age issues, those, I think, are well addressed by the traditional medicines like Chinese medicine.
I do. And Nedra, I noticed in both of your groups, both the Acupressure for All Creatures and your Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute, you go on your website, ladies, and you are encouraging people who are practicing this to be having a good relationship with veterinarians. So I applaud you both for seeing that it's nice to have a working relationship with veterinarians. Right, Nedra?
I really believe in that. And I think if you look at even human medicine, really integration is becoming the mainstay now. Like you have Scripps or Sharp, actually, Healthcare in San Diego actually has Reiki people in the hospital working in the oncology unit with their folks. But Eastern Western is probably the most ideal function, especially for the patient being a human or animal, because they get the best of both worlds. As Amy said, a lot of times, like with chronic issues, you can definitely use acupressure to, help with those and maybe get them off some of the meds. But in addition, if they are on meds, there's really good points to support kind of the side effects of those medications. So again, better health for the animal. But hopefully, this is a growing trend, and I think it's an important one because the two working together seriously is the most ideal situation for the animal.
I have to agree. Now, is there any way on a half-hour show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have these fine experts explain everything you need to know about acupressure? I don't think so. But I will say this. Since you've been listening, Amy Snow and Nancy Zadanis, the co-founders, have written some books, and one of them is called Acu-Cat, that's ACU-cat, and Acu-Dog, and these are pretty amazing, detailed, you got to get your paws on books. So, Amy, you are kind enough to give an autographed copy of each to our listeners, so we'll have to come up with a code word, so when we put it in the Arden Moore Knows Pets e-newsletter and also let people know on the Pet Life Radio newsletter, what's the code word you want us to have a lucky listener to use to get their hands on an autographed copy? Let's start with Acu.com. What's the code word you'd like us to use?
Code word. Let Nedra do code word on cat. I'll come up with the
Okay,
dog.
Nedra, no pressure. Come on. Let's think on our feet. What's the code word to get a copy of Acu-Cat, the book?
How about Happy Cat?
Happy Cat. Okay. All right.
Oh, good one.
No pressure, Amy. What about the code word for Acu-Dog?
The photo on the front of our book is Tilly. So Tilly is the code word.
Tilly?
It's an EY. We do it the British way.
Oh, pardon me. Pass the Grey Poupon. Okay, so we got Tilley. All right, Tilly, if you want to get your paws on Acu-Dog, and Happy Cat if you want to get your hands on the book Acu-Cat. One thing I will say, I go on your site and I feel like I'm back in school. I love being a student and a teacher. And you have made it so accessible for people to learn acupressure. There's online courses. You're going all over the country giving talks. There's videos, there's books. This show does air all over the globe. We even have listeners in Singapore. We do have some in Australia, and I know you're going there. And then you've got people, a great team in the field, people that have learned from you, like Nedra, who's going to be helping out at a 3-day workshop in San Diego. So, Amy, you've created quite a monster.
Yeah, I think Nancy was at least 50% responsible for it. So if we want to be blamed, we have to take it.
Well, yes, and we are giving a shout out to Nancy Sedana. She is the original founder who now teamed up with Amy Snow with Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute. So, but seriously, can you imagine years ago you guys getting together doing some stuff? Did you ever think in your wildest dream? You are like an amazing tandem teaching team. That's a lot of alliteration right there.
Yeah, we even have other instructors now. The whole organization has grown. We have assistants all over the world, in England and Australia. And we've got Nedra in San Diego, who's kind of...
Yee-hoo! Pause up!
And then there's, last couple of weeks ago, I was in New Jersey, and we had 3 assistants. One of them is moving toward being an instructor. So it's a growing thing. People are recognizing that if it's been around for a few thousand years, I bet it works. If things work, people don't keep doing them. So that's a good part of what we're doing, and we're also seeing such a positive, effect for animals, and that's our biggest and our driving force behind us. We're all very passionate about making animals healthy.
Are you going to be back at Pet Sitters International for their conference to give a talk?
Not this time round. Our schedule has gotten pretty hefty. You just heard one of my cohorts in this business. Women, I don't know why they're barking, but they are.
Oh, I thought it was Nedra barking. I thought that was you, Nedra. No.
No,
I am trying to contain myself.
Okay. But no, what I like is that you do team up with pet professionals. So Pet Sitters International, you've been at their conference and given good talks. I ran into our buddy Tom Sums from Pet Tech today. He's really helped me out with Pet First Aid, and he said to give his best to you both. Likes what you guys do. And he was impressed that Nedra and Arden are our names spelled backwards. You knew Nedra. I was going to say it sometime on the show. I mean, isn't that cool? How did you get your name, Nedra?
My mother. No,
Wow, my mother.
No, but I don't know. They just wanted a name that they didn't have any affiliation with. So she knew somebody, I guess, in high school named Nedra. So that became my name. And then we were in Egypt, and my mom kept saying it, and I guess it actually is Egyptian for rare or something. So I don't know, but it is my name. So
well, I like your name.
A biblical name, actually.
Oh, it is?
Yes, the cousin Nedra in Israel.
There you go. So, now, I think Arden is mud, universal. Just kidding. No.
No, it's Nedra spelled backwards.
That's right. So before we wrap up, I want you to each leave our listeners with some gem of advice that they can do for their pets. So, Amy, no pressure, but you're up first. You have the ability to help heal our pets. So what would be one good tip or piece of advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, you said that I have the ability. The actual truth is everyone has the ability to heal and help their animals feel and be their best. Because we all have, as Nedra was talking about universal energy, we all have incredible living energy that we can share. And our animals, our dogs, our cats, our horses, all have it as well. And they have given a lot to us. And constantly, they give their vital energy to us. It's our turn to give it back in healthy, well-balanced ways.
I like that. All right, Nedra, what's the message you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I have to agree with Amy 100%. I just think it's important, as we do all have the ability to help our animals, but just to really pay attention to your animal. Pay attention to, their moods, pay attention to how they're walking, and just take a close care. And, because they take in a lot of our energy and a lot of our angst just to help us. But just as Amy said, to give back to them, just, check in with them, see how they're feeling, see if you notice things are different, and just really give them the attention they deserve. And, if you think something isn't necessarily working as it should, then, kind of investigate that.
All right. And don't dismiss old age, them being just old age, because to me, old age is a stage of life. It isn't an excuse to be able to have the dog have bad breath or a dull coat or something like that. I look at a lot of people that are older than we may be, but they're more vibrant. And so I just don't think old age is a disease. I just think it's a stage of life.
No, it's just pay attention to the small changes or the little clues, because I think animals, they may not talk to you, but they will give you clues as to how they're feeling.
Okay. And at this time, I also want to remind everybody, we are going to be giving away an autographed copy of Acu-Cat. It is co-authored by Nancy Zadonis and Amy Snow of the Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute. And the code word is what, Nedra?
Happy Cat.
Happy Cat. Okay. And you're going to find out more details on the Arden Moore Knows Pets newsletter. And then we're also going to give away a copy of Acu-Dog. And what's the code word, Amy?
Tilly.
And what's the British spelling?
When we're teaching in England, we teach at a place called Tilly Farm.
All right. And before we leave, I want to make sure everyone has these amazing websites written down on their hands or written down on a piece of paper. And after the show, I want you to dash over and sniff around these 2 amazing websites where you can learn how you can be truly your pet's best health ally. I'm speaking first of animalacupressure.com. That's the website for the Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute. And then I also want you to please go to acupressureforallcreatures.com. And that is the amazing website that is put together by Nedra Abramson. She's based here in San Diego. And I thank you both for being on the show. Any questions, ladies, or did you survive this folly with me?
Yes, I had a good time. Thank you.
All right. Nedra? You'll still say hi to me when you see me around? Okay, cool.
I will absolutely say hi to you.
I also want to thank Mark Winter. He is the amazing executive producer, not only of this show, but the entire Pet Life Radio network. He started this idea a few years back, and he has now more than 6 million people tuning in to shows on the Pet Life Radio network. And he also just thought, well, I have nothing else to do, so I'm just going to start a whole pet TV channel called Chomp. That's CHOMMMP.com. I want you guys to check it out. It's really kind of cool. So that's our show for today. I thank all of you for tuning in. And until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand. This is the place for a special paparazzi treat. Only on PetLifeRadio.com.